So what's the opposition? It seems like a win-win.
I don't know. It's been really interesting to go through this process, see the opposition from, the Governor's Highway Traffic Safety Office, and the first year actually from MAD, because they get a grant from the Governor's Highway Traffic Safety Office. They're on board with us this year. They're for passing this law. It's very interesting, the dynamics of what goes on Capitol Hill.
I have no doubt.
I mean, I think people have got a little taste of Washington.
Yeah.
Maybe it's been more transparent with this health care bill, just seeing what we think are the payoffs and things to get votes for the health care bill. So it's an interesting process.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, are there any other measures on the table this year to help reduce the drinking and driving problems?
We have some extreme drunk driving bills, things like that, that have laid over from last year that will have a huge fiscal note that we're really not pushing this year because of the budget constraints.
Well, you're co-sponsor of Senate Joint Resolution 763 that proposes a constitutional amendment to clarify the language that currently prohibits the levying of tax on any class of income other than income derived from stocks and bonds, and to prohibit any tax levied on or measured by employer payrolls. That's quite a mouthful. Why is this resolution necessary? And for those of us who don't quite understand all that, what does it mean?
Well, it means we will never have a state income tax or a payroll tax in the state of Tennessee. This was a big debate back during the income tax issue a few years ago, if you remember. And we actually had the Attorney General at that time stand in some of the committee meetings and say, well, although the Constitution doesn't provide for a state income tax, we think we could defend it, if you wanted to pass it. And that was a scary thing, to think that they would go against the state Constitution. Right now, our state Constitution only calls for the Hall income tax, which is a tax on the interest dividends that you earn. I think that's an unfair tax. If people have saved their money, my mom has saved her money. She has not been rich, she's been thrifty with her money, and yet she has to pay the Hall income tax. But this would just address the state income tax and a payroll tax, should anyone ever try to propose one. And this is a constitutional amendment that the people will actually get to vote on in a couple of years.
What else is going on up at the Capitol that you'd like to tell us about?
There's lots going on.
Any other bills we haven't touched on?
Oh, you caught me off guard now.
Oh, no.
There's so much going on. We had a bill this week that was very interesting on abortion, and it is going to make the abortion clinics, hospitals that do abortions, post signage that says a woman cannot be coerced into having an abortion. And I had a lady visit my office, and she told me the story about becoming pregnant at age 16. And her mother was very ill at the time, didn't know much about what was going on. She knew that if her stepfather found out about it, he would force her to get an abortion. He found out when she was 5 months pregnant. At 7.5 months pregnant, he pulled her out of bed one night, put her in the car, took her to Cookeville, didn't tell her what was going to happen, but she had an idea, and forced her to have an abortion. So we just want to make sure that women know that no one in the state of Tennessee can coerce them to have an abortion.
Wow, that is interesting. Well, let's lighten up a little bit and talk about the status of the State Highway 109 project going from Wilson to Sumner County. A lot of activity going on right now with that. Tell us where it stands.
Well, as you know, they're working on the section from I-40 down to 109 right now, widening that, and we hope to keep increasing that one section at a time. There's already been some engineering on the other sections. The bridge is a big issue, why widen the whole thing and come down to a little two-lane bridge, so that's definitely in the works for the future. Yeah.
And what is the advantage to Wilson County for this? Just a lot of traffic coming into Sumner? A
lot of traffic. It was an alternative, really, to the 840. With 840, it would have been a loop around Nashville. Now they're going to bring all the traffic through 109, eventually hook into the portion that they're working on up in Portland. And so it's kind of a bypass, just like 840 would have been. I have mixed feelings about that.
Yeah. There's been a lot of talk about expanding the regional transportation system. What are your thoughts on further expansion of the Music City Star and some of the other transportation to get people around other than just using the highways?
Well, I think it's difficult to even discuss those kind of issues right now with our budget situation.
Yeah.
We don't have the money right now, so you know, I think that's end of conversation.
Yeah.
You know, it takes money to do all of that.
Money to build anything.
That's right.
Just recently, Republican Jason Mumpower announced that he's going to be retiring. I know he's in the House and not the Senate, but what are your thoughts about that for the GOP?
Well, that's a seat that will definitely go back to a Republican.
Yeah.
I think McCain, they told me, carried it by 68%. So, you know, in some districts that could have been a problem, you know, to get another Republican elected, but that's not going to be a problem. I think everybody was kind of amazed at the suddenness. I heard that he just filed last Friday, but what I heard is that, you know, he wanted more time at home and perhaps start a family. Jason was younger than my youngest son when he and I were elected in 1994. Huh. So it's like I've seen a lot of these young men grow up.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, we thank you so much for taking time to be here. Busy session, and we'll talk to you again when it's all over.
Thank you.
For more information on the topics we've discussed or other pending legislation, you can email or call Senator Mae Beavers. That telephone number is 615-741-2421. And we hope you will join us again next time, right here on Inside Politics.